Okay, so that Attack on Titan Season 4 trailer was amazing, and we need to talk about it. We might be looking at the most intense season of the series, and that's saying something. Attack on Titan Season 3 was pretty much constant game changers. This season was less about surviving against Titans and more about surviving against everybody else. There were political revolutions, shocking twists, epic flashbacks, and of course, big Titan fights. The biggest takeaways were that we learned the mystery behind Eren and his father. It made for great television for us, but someone really should have gotten Eren a therapist after all that. He learned that not only was his father a traitor against 2 different nations, but that he'd actually eaten him. They really don't make condolence cards for sorry you found out you ate your dad. Despite all that, though, our heroes actually got to take back Wall Maria. After so many years of struggling, the gang got to retake their home, and all it cost was almost everything. Seriously, that entire arc was just emotional whiplash. Armin got burned to a crisp. Erwin went out like a boss. Then they dangled both of their resurrections in front of us in one of the most tense moments of the entire series. I mean, how do you rationally decide which of your friends gets to live and become a giant monster? That's not exactly a coin flip situation. Possibly the biggest shock of the entire season came at the end, when our heroes got a brief moment of happiness. Seeing Armin, Mikasa, and the gang experiencing the ocean for the first time was probably the last sweet moment we'll ever get. I mean, it is an anime, so legally I'm pretty sure they're required to do a beach episode. Rules are rules. The biggest setup in Season 3 was when we finally got more information on the bad guys from across the sea. Grisha's flashback dug us deep into Marley's culture, but that's likely just the beginning. If we know anything about Attack on Titan, it's that nothing is as simple as it looks. We'll likely get deep into the political workings of the Marley government. From the way Grisha's childhood went, it doesn't exactly look like Disney World. Not only will we get more from Marley, it looks like we'll also get to see what the rest of the world is like. Attack on Titan so far has been like if Hawaii was an isolated country that didn't know the rest of the world existed. Now we're gonna get to see the rest of the world and how they react to Marley and the Titans. From the looks of it, Marley isn't exactly the peace-loving capital of the world. It seems as if there's some sort of massive global conflict that our heroes are unwittingly walking into. It looks like there's some sort of heavily industrialized nation that's going up against Marley's Titan soldiers. If only there were other Titan soldiers that these nations could ally with. Yeah, sounds like it won't be hard for Eren and company to find allies. Before we get to that though, the trailer makes it seem like we'll be introduced to a whole new team of plucky heroes to get invested in. The trailer starts with a desert showdown and a young man who looked like he was taking his last breath. Will he become the new Eren of the season? If we're going to do a big Marley arc, we'll need a point of view character. The trailer must have lingered on him for a reason. If not, looks like we've got a whole bunch of other warriors who are eager to join the fray. The trailer then zooms to 3 more characters who seem to be competing against each other to become the next armored Titan. It'll be like the world's hardest reality show competition. Who wants to be a Titan? I don't know about you, but I'm putting all my money on that girl. That look she gives to the camera just screams, I'm ready to mess things up. While the junior squad is on the ground, Marley's Titan Avengers comes in on a giant zeppelin. Hey, we'll take what we can get. Not everybody can afford a helicarrier. Can there be a scene where Zeke jumps out and one of the other soldiers asks, was he wearing a parachute? And Reiner smiles and says, nope. Zeke and Reiner are joined by a new Jaw Titan and the Cart Titan who is packing heat. Seriously, could they not have made giant machine guns for everybody? Zeke's special power is basically that he's got an epic throwing arm. There also seems to be a mysterious new Titan who looks like he can wield some sort of giant hammer. Where have they been hiding all this time? What with all this focus on Marley, do you think they'll actually make us change sides? The show has made a pretty good case for why Marley is a pretty messed up place, but I feel like we're gonna get another side to the story. It would be just like Attack on Titan to get us invested in a brand new gang of kids right before our heroes come to visit in full force. Try as you might, Attack on Titan, you'll never get me to turn on Mikasa. She's a ride or die friend, and so am I. The trailer doesn't linger on our heroes for long, but certainly long enough for us to know that things have changed since the last season. For starters, it looks like several years have gone by since that day they had at the beach. The character who is obviously going to be the most interesting to catch up with is Eren. The show seems to teeter-totter over whether or not Eren is some sort of messiah or just another monster. The last we saw of him, he'd finally liberated his people from the scourge of the Marley Titan Squad. This was possibly the most heroic we've ever seen Eren. It looks like things are going to be a little different when we meet him again. The trailer presents itself with a much stronger Marley perspective than usual. It shows us that to them, Eren is basically their Godzilla, a role that doesn't seem like Eren has much of a problem with. It looks like he's going to rampage through a city of innocent people and finally get revenge after what happened to his mother. There's also a common trope for anime characters that one of them will go a little bit bad. And when they do that, all of them have that same apathetic look on their face. Yeah, that's right, looks like Eren's going through his Sasuke phase. You gotta admit, that is how dramatically Sasuke would take off a coat. The one thing we do know for sure about Eren is that he's been hitting the gym 7 days a week. Seriously, is every single day ab day for this guy? He's got a freaking 10-pack. You just know that Eren hasn't had a good meal since beach day. It's less clear what the rest of the gang was up to while Eren was living at the gym. It looks like Armin isn't taking his tenure as the new Colossal Titan well. We get a brief look at him in his Titan form and he looks like he couldn't be more miserable. Could they not have found the dude a date in those 3 years? Seriously, no one on that show needs to relax more than he does. We don't see much of Mikasa, but it does look like she's part of the team attacking Marley. If I was them, I'd be a lot less concerned with the Titans destroying the city than I would be with her. They have their own Titans, but they don't have a one-woman army with 3D maneuver gear. Eren could have saved himself some time and sent her in with a pocket knife, and she'd have it sorted out in about 20 minutes. Speaking of one-person armies, if I had one complaint about this trailer, it's that it doesn't have enough Levi in it. Sure, we get to see him rip through some pure Titans, but that doesn't give us a lot of information to go on. It looks like he's finally hit his growth spurt at least. As far as Connie, Jean, and the rest of the gang are concerned, I wouldn't get too attached. This is the final season, and you just know that 90% of the supporting cast is gonna eat it. Well, knowing this show, it's probably more accurate to say that they will be the one that gets eaten. One thing that is safe to say about our heroes is that they have been spending this time planning a massive attack on Marley. Even with the attack and Colossal Titans on their side, such an action seems pretty foolish. So they probably have spent a few years gaining allies. Do you think we'll get a full flashback episode detailing how they've made new friends, or will they just do a traveling the world montage? The seasons are only like 20 episodes long. They're gonna have to montage something. Once the initial attack ends, that's when things will truly get real. The trailer is not subtle about what happens next. Marley is gonna take on the rest of the world. I don't know about you, but the idea of a full-on Titan military struggle is enough by itself to sell me on this season. We get quite a lot of teasing about what this might be like in the trailer. The Marley soldiers seem to have formed a strike team capable of taking down an entire city. If that's not enough, it looks like they drop tons of pure Titans like bombs. Can you even imagine how weird it would be to see a giant, clothless, smiling person suddenly plopping down on your street? That's half just psychological combat. I'd give up before they even attacked. Marley might have quite the offense, but this time they'll have to play defense. From the look of how our heroes blaze through Marley, defense really isn't their game. Eren seems to destroy half a city just by himself. They do have a few tricks up their sleeves when it comes to that mystery Titan, though it doesn't seem like it goes well for him either if the big final showdown is going to be Eren versus Reiner again. It doesn't look like Reiner has been training as hard as Eren has. I bet their third fight is going to go about as well as the first time Eren tried to take on Annie as the female Titan. Reiner's about to get owned, and I'm calling it now. So if things really do go that south for Marley, what happens next? It looks like the other nations of the world have bad blood with them as well. As a rule, it's usually not a good idea to be the nation that's made enemies out of everyone, especially not when you keep losing all those fancy Titans to the team across the ocean. I suppose there's a possibility that they will all manage to talk it out. Maybe the Eldians, the Marleyans, and the other people of the world might make permanent peace together. The series will end with people from all nations gathered together in harmony as the conflict ends forever. Yeah, right. There's a 10-to-1 chance from just this trailer alone that Eren is going to go full Daenerys Targaryen and destroy everything in his path. With only one season left, if he does go bad, there's really no time for a redemption arc. He may very well end up the villain of the series. So what would Eren's ultimate revenge be? We met him as a young man who had to watch helplessly as his mother was devoured by a Titan and his home destroyed. There's really only one evil plan that would match that kind of cruelty. How fitting would it be if the remaining people of Marley had to trade places with the people of Paradis? This show seems exactly like the sort of show that would end the same way it began. Maybe the last moments of the show will feature a new Marley-descended boy who wants to find out what the world is like outside of Paradis. A new Eren to be the start of the new cycle of the never-ending merry-go-round of hate and destruction that has ravaged both people. And there you have it. All the reasons I'm hyped for this next season of Attack on Titan. What about you guys? How do you think everything will play out in the final season? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more anime action from CBR.